This is KGW News at 11.
And we begin with breaking news tonight with two separate shootings, one in Gresham and the other in Clark County. Both were fatal. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Tim Gordon. Let's start in Clark County, where the sheriff's office is investigating a murder-suicide case where 5 people are dead. At 1:06 p.m., deputies were called to Northeast 92nd Street near Northeast 115th Avenue. That's where Ashley Grams joins us live tonight. Ashley, what do we know so far about this awful situation?
We know that just after 1 this afternoon, the Clark County Sheriff found 5 people dead inside a home here on Northeast 92nd in the Orchards neighborhood. They say that 4 of those people were murdered before the suspect turned the gun on themselves. The sheriff received a tip earlier this afternoon that a person in the house on 92nd had hurt their family and possibly had a gun. Clark County and a SWAT team checked the home with a drone and found 5 adults dead inside. Officers say they don't know how everyone is related and they're still investigating.
It tends to kind of shock the conscience, I think, when a murder-suicide like this happens, or like any murder-suicide happens, but especially when it involves 5 people. I can't remember anything like this.
It's still an active scene out here in the Orchards neighborhood tonight. The major crime scene team is still investigating and plan to be on scene here for the next few hours. We still don't know the names of the people involved or what led up to this shooting. Tim?
Ashley, thanks so much for being out there for us. Meanwhile, Gresham police are investigating a shooting that killed 1 person. We also know that 2 others were injured. Gresham police got the call shortly after 4 p.m. today to Northeast Gleason and 165th Avenue. When officers arrived, they found 2 people with gunshot wounds and another person was injured. We don't have details on those injuries. They were all taken to the hospital. Police say one of the gunshot victims died while at the hospital. Those involved are not being identified at this time, but police say there is no threat to the community. Detectives still investigating, and they're asking any witnesses to come forward. Now, please, if you or someone you know is in crisis, know that there is help for you. All you have to do is call 988 on any phone. It'll connect you to a crisis center and a trained counselor. And as we get more details on both of these incidents, we'll be sure to keep you updated on air and online at kgw.com. Well, across the metro area, we're seeing more heavy rain over the next couple of days. And at Mount Hood, that rain has caused other problems. Thomas Schultz has that story.
Unused lifts and untouched skis pepper Mount Hood as immense rain pushed back the start of ski season for some lodges, who plan to open this weekend.
The snow conditions are not going to be pleasant. The weather's not going to be pleasant.
Robert Hahn, a meteorologist at the Northwest Avalanche Center, says avalanches could be a concern at Mount Hood over the next few days.
But I do anticipate some dangerous or very dangerous conditions to continue on the mountain.
Flooding could be another issue.
Better idea just to wait until you can come and enjoy winter when it's snowing.
Tyler Barnes, Mount Hood Meadows Learning Center director, says it's still too warm for heavy rain to turn to snow.
It really makes for fragile snow surface.
And here at Mount Hood Meadows, you can see the snowpack is still setting in. We're going all the way down to our knees here, about 34 inches of snow, and you can see precipitation still coming down. That's the big holdup that the ski lodges are seeing here, and forcing some, like Meadows, to delay their opening until next Friday at the earliest.
The safety is key for the riders, so that's what we have to keep in mind all the time.
Still, some ski lodges kick-started the season Sunday.
Anyone that was out there trying to get early laps definitely was having fun, and the stoke was good.
Zach Carsey works at Timberline.
And it was safe for me. The lifts were running good. It wasn't that windy.
While open Sunday, Timberline plans to be closed the next 3 days, though workers say by Friday...
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
At Mount Hood, Thomas Schultz, KGW News.
And from our Rose City Skycam tonight, the concern over the next couple days is going to be the chance to see some minor flooding because we're looking at a couple of very strong systems that will start to arrive tomorrow. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri has more on the timing. Joe, this is on top of what's already been a very wet weekend.
It certainly has. Yeah, I know we're only 3 days into December, but we're well over 2 inches of rain for the month, and average rainfall is close to 6 inches of rain. And here the next 4 or 5 days or so, we'll be very close to that, believe it or not. Yeah, we're going to be seeing basically just system after system move through here, really starting now and especially into tomorrow night. That's when the strong system moves on shore. And because of all that rain we'll be looking at, Tim, we have that flood watch that is in effect now until the middle part of the week throughout the coast and the valley. Some of the rainfall amounts are just going to be staggering to see here the next couple of days. Here's another live look showing you downtown Portland from our Rose City camera. We're looking at temperatures right now in the low 50s. And if you're wondering, why does it feel so warm out there, almost spring-like? Well, it's because this precipitation's funneling in with some subtropical moisture. That's why we saw warm temperatures out there. Now, we should be looking at highs close to 50 degrees for the early part of December. Well, get this, we were in the low 60s this afternoon, and that's going to be the case here the next couple of days as we have a couple of atmospheric rivers. You can call it the Pineapple Express if you want, because we'll be seeing some warm and very wet conditions. On the radar, we're looking at some drier weather right now. Enjoy this dry weather because it's going to be absolutely wet here the next few days. We've been seeing over an 0.8 of an inch of rain here the last 24 hours. McMinnville close to an inch of rain. Now along the Oregon coast down in parts of North Bend, almost 3 inches of rain. Yeah, Brookings close to 2 inches here in the last 24 hours. So very wet conditions the next few days. Heavy rain arrives late tomorrow night and into Tuesday. And that is that system we're paying very close attention to because that could be bringing a sharp rise in some local streams and some rivers. Again, rainfall amounts, Tim, could be anywhere from 2 to maybe 4 inches by the end of Wednesday. I'll talk more about that detail in just a few minutes.
Wow. Okay. Thanks, Joe. Well, several agencies around the Portland Metro are prepping for incoming rainstorms. PBOT crews spent the weekend clearing storm drains of fallen leaves and debris. They're working to prevent water from collecting on streets and creating trouble for neighbors and drivers. PBOT says they're keeping a close eye on the weather this whole week.
PBOT this time of year is closely monitoring the weather forecasts so we can staff appropriately to bring additional crews and equipment on as needed to help keep our city functioning and help us be resilient against fall and winter storms.
Now, PBOT is asking you to check your storm drains outside your house. If you see leaves or other debris blocking rainwater from reaching the drain, call PBOT and they can use the proper tools and equipment to clear that out. All right, stick with KGW News and KGW.com throughout the week. We'll have the very latest forecasts and what's happening on the roads for you. Well, experts say at least 1/3 of our food is dependent on honeybee pollination. So making sure that bees continue to flourish, it's vital. But right now there's a disease killing honeybees. So over the next 4 years, OSU researchers will lead a $4.2 million research project to learn more about it. The disease is called European foul brood disease, which kills newly hatched bees within days. Researchers will tag about 1,500 hives for observation, test samples, and figure out strategies for beekeepers. That could include applying antibiotics to a hive.
We'll look at several parameters, including disease incidence, what are the contributing factors, looking at nutritional status. There are so many other parameters we'll be looking at to see, or at least figure out what the contributing factors might be.
And the project will start in February in California, where beekeepers from around the country bring their hives to pollinate almonds, one of the first crops of the year. Well, starting today, TriMet riders can now catch Line 48 Cornell every 15 minutes. This upgrade is part of TriMet's latest service improvements they call Forward Together. Another addition is moving part of the Line 62 Murray Boulevard route, adding weekend service on Line 70 and reorganizing bus stops and schedules at Sunset Transit Center to keep buses on time. A live look from our Skycam overlooking Pioneer Courthouse Square this evening. It's a beautiful sight and it's quiet now, but a few hours ago this area was just full of beer and cheer. Check it out. The Portland Holiday Brew Fest got everyone in the spirit of Christmas. All the fun starting Saturday morning and wrapped up earlier this evening. No problem with rain. Folks gathered underneath covered, heated tents to enjoy tasty and frosty brews like you see right there with friends. Look at it, he's even sharing. It's very nice. Some people we spoke to say it's great to be back at the square after the COVID-19 pandemic postponed dozens of events there.
4 years removed from the last one,
Oh my
2019.
God, yeah.
It's so great to be back in the courthouse square.
As you can tell, we love to be dressed up and have fun with all of our friends, and that's why I gathered everyone here today. So,
Looking good, guys. There were more than 25 holiday or winter-inspired beers and ciders from around the Northwest.